Well, greetings and salutations, test takers. This is the Series 7 Guru coming to you from my studio here in fabulous. Well, Ritwick, I hope so. I don't know what's going on. I'm having technical difficulties here. So let's see what happens here. So, boom, can you hear me? Am I live? I should be live. So, uh, been a long day. I'm teaching a Series 7. I had started with such an enthusiastic greeting. I said, greetings and salutations, test takers. Welcome to my studio in fabulous Las Vegas for our weekly installment of our Q&A. So my name is Dean Tinney, Series 7 Guru. I don't know if my wingman, Brian, will be joining us or not. We're here every Tuesday. So tell us what exam you're taking, where you're joining us from. We'll take care of a little housekeeping here first. If you have a question, just put SIE or 7, whatever it happens to be, followed by your question. Makes it easier for me to pick it out of the chat and see what it is. It's helpful because different answers to different content on things. We have a new Facebook community called Baby Brokers Doing Hat Tricks. If you're into Facebook, if you're not into Facebook, we have some Reddit communities, R Series 7 for SIE and 7, R66 for 63, 65, and 66. And we have R24 for 9, 10s, and 24s. The best free supplement to your paid study materials is my YouTube channel. But if you're looking for a paid supplement, I highly recommend Kaplan with my Guru 15 discount code at checkout. You save 15%. Brian has been kind enough to give all of our viewers a 20% discount, and that discount code is Guru20. If you missed the live stream, it's available as a podcast, both on the YouTube channel and on Spotify. If you want to join me, I'm doing a basic options class for $35. That's Thursday. Stock plus options is $35. Advanced options over the course of the next 3 weeks. You can go to deantinneytutoring.setmore.com if you would like to join us for that. You can also have free available tonight, 6:15, same location, deantinneytutoring.setmore.com. At 6:15 after this, we meet on a Zoom in a virtual classroom with a whiteboard, and we knock out whatever anybody would have to do. Sometimes questions here don't lend themselves to the live stream. We do a drawing at the end of each of our live streams for a coaching call or admission scholarship to one of those evening classes. Okay, so let's see if I have my technical difficulties handled, and let's see what's going on in terms of things. Okay, so you can hear me. Woohoo! So I don't know what happened. I do not know what happened. So I apologize. So it looks like I'm back in business. All right. So it looks like we have a 66 testing tomorrow, Rosanna. So tonight, get a good night's sleep. The most important thing, Rosanna, is be confident in the execution of your study plan. Be confident in yourself. And most importantly, be confident in your answers. Do not be changing answers unless you know what the right answer is and you're sure what the other one is. Hey, Brian. I'm glad, I had difficulties, so I blew up for some reason, but I think I'm back now. So, welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. So, we're just telling Rosanna make sure she gets some sleep. And I'll just quote Brian, Rosanna, now that he's here. He loves to say, Rosanna, you take the test. Don't let the test take you, right? What's your other one? I think you're got another one. Stick with what you know.
Stay with what you know.
65 in the house. SIE in the house. 65 in the house. Quick update on my situation. Failed the 65 twice. Brian, I really believe that 65 is really, really tough. I mean, it really is tough too, depending on your background. First time 88 at 130, second time 90, third attempt in 9 days. Ritwick, what are you scoring on practice tests? Are you using STC, Kaplan, Past Perfect? Have you purchased Brian's supplement, his paid supplement? I mean, so give us some more background on that. Again, in chat, your personal business is on blast, but so if you don't want to do it, it's fine. But it would be helpful to know that as well as our currently. So, that would be helpful. Maybe we can, give you some more direction. Past the 7. Woohoo! We ring the bell for victorious test takers. I don't know why you would not take Brian and not my word for what's testable, but we have a victorious test taker in the house. And so if you have questions, maybe Austin will answer them for you. Laws and regs, that's the whole test, Ritwick. Laws and regs and investments is pretty much it. Match that up, Ritwick, with the test specifications. If you go to the NASA website, you can print out the test specifications, and it'll break down that report you're looking at in further detail. And what I would like you to do, particularly 9 days out, is go through there, and I want you to do an intellectual inventory with yourself on using that. You're going to go through each item on the test specifications, and you're going to put either a plus. Plus means you think you're above passing on that particular topic. 0 means you're at par passing. Minus means you're below par and you need to work. And hopefully that'll help you isolate. It's counterintuitive, but you're looking for a bunch of minuses. I had Ritwick, somebody in your very similar situation, failed twice. I asked him to do that because he was tutoring. I was doing tutoring with him. And the great thing is, oh my God, we had like minuses, in huge chunks of the area that we could then work on. I thought, and he was kind of surprised. He goes, "You're happy?" I go, "I'm very happy. This isn't onesies and twosies. This is like, boom, if we can fix these chunks, we're going to be in good shape." And he did indeed pass. So that would be a recommendation for sure. 6 on Saturday. I don't know what you're scoring on practice tests. I think you're in pretty good shape. The SIE, I think, does set well up for 6. Make sure you pay attention to mutual funds, communications, variable annuities. Brian, any tips or recommendations?
Say it again.
Variable annuities, communications,
annuities, mutual funds.
Yes, that's what's at.
That's it. You got it.
Economic factors, 13 to 20.
It's not the economics. It's the balance sheet.
Brian always says, Ritwick, so that's why you need to print out the test specification. Brian is convinced, and I have no reason to doubt him. I agree with him, that it's not really the economics like monetary policy, fiscal policy, leading economic indicators. Brian is convinced that, and it is there, and it's something a lot of people are not familiar with, but that balance sheet stuff, working capital, current ratio, quick ratio, PE ratio, that is what that area of that section that we think people struggle with.
And Dean, you're right on top of this. In 20 years, I've told people you got to get those specifications for 63, 65, 66. You can't work with this without those specifications. That's why it's in front of every one of my class notes. I put the specifications there. You got to have them.
And again, Brian is tempting both of us to go into a rant, Ritwick, about test prep vendors, because without the test specifications, my God, you don't know how many of those thousands of pages are really meaningful. And
Dean, you know me so well.
Yeah. So, that's the other reason you want to do that, because if you have that handy, right. I'm not saying you shouldn't read the book. We all think you should read the book, but you can compare to what you're reading, whether it's Past Perfect or STC or Kaplan, to the test specifications and go, that seems kind of overboard. In most every situation is going to be a little more than you need. By the way, and the part with that's, again, I want to just comment why that is a problem is because you can be misallocating time and wearing yourself out by not knowing what the particular things are that you need to know. Right. And that could be hard. Brian's another thing he likes to say is he likes to distill the potatoes into vodka. And, those tech specs are a pile of potatoes. You just, trying to work your way through it can be a real challenge. 65-second time, Jennifer, not surprised. Investment vehicles, that looks pretty good. I mean, as things go. Yeah, well, there you go, Ritwick. We told you, go print out that test specification so you can see what that includes in terms of making recommendations. Series 6, we got a couple sixes in the house. Shane, thank you so much for joining us for LinkedIn. We broadcast to YouTube. That's our preferred platform, but we also broadcast to Facebook, Twitter, I guess X now, and LinkedIn. So I'm always excited when I see somebody joining us from LinkedIn or Facebook. Laws and regs. Well, there you go. So we told you what you need to do. So do that. Circle back with us and let us know. 9 days means we can talk to you again on Tuesday. So who knows? Maybe you win the coaching call, and then we can spend 30 minutes together. Hi, Dean, Christina. Welcome from LinkedIn. I sit for my Series 10 Friday on the third try. Any advice? Yes. My advice would be to always think, how does this relate to protecting the customer? What is the customer's best interest? So, you're not there to protect your brokers. You're there to protect the broker dealer and the customers. I think the 10 is a real slog. Reg U is about rehypothecation. I'm not sure how much your 10 would go into it, but let's just give you a brief overview. So if you buy 1,000 shares from me, Christina, at 20 in a margin account, let's make it 1,000 shares at 40. And you're going to put up 20 grand, and then I'm going to loan you 20 grand. And the reason, Christina, I love margin accounts is because the broker dealer is not lending your money. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rehypothecate your securities to the bank. And I'm going to say, Mr. Banker, here are Christina's securities. I would like a loan for Christina. Reg U is 140%. So 140% of your debit balance is $28,000. So I need $28,000 worth of your stock, Christina, for Mr. Banker. 28,000 divided by 40, that's 700 shares. So of your 1,000 shares, I'm taking 700 shares down to Mr. Banker. Mr. Banker, here's 700 shares of Christina's securities. I'd like a loan for Christina. Here we go with big time test thing. There is no problem in what I've just walked you through because I'm using customer securities to support customer indebtedness. What would not be copacetic is to use your securities to support broker-dealer indebtedness. In that example, Christine, I have 300 shares of your securities that aren't involved in that loan. Those are called excess margin securities, and those have to be segregated and locked up. I might need them later, right? Because the value of the collateral with the bank is going up or down. Most of us don't want to deal with that, right? So that's what Reg U is about. Reg U is about rehypothecation. Reg X says that we can't use foreign regulatory structure to arbitrage U.S. regulatory structure. So that's what Reg X is saying. I was just talking today about the financial crisis, and we had a company no longer with us, Lehman Brothers, and Lehman Brothers was, doing rehypothecation in London to get a better deal than they were getting in the U.S. and they were violating U.S. securities. So that's the answer about Reg X. The last one, holding customer mail. This is for everybody. I would think, Brian, this is on every FINRA exam about holding customer mail. So let's start with the frequency of statements, very testable. The minimum frequency for a statement is quarterly, unless you have a penny stock in your account. Very testable. Then it's monthly. Penny stock is a non-NASDAQ OTC stock under 5. I say, Christina, I'm going to be traveling, and I'd like you to hold my statements. You say, fine. You're holding them for me. I check in with you, and I say, I'd like you to continue to hold them. You say, well, Dean, you can get them on the internet. I say, Christina, I'm in Zamboanga in the southern Philippines, Mindanao, with my missionary father, and the leading industry is kidnapping. And if I go into an internet cafe and punch up my brokerage account, I'm going to move myself up 3 spots on that list. I'm not asking you to hold my statements for convenience. I'm asking you to hold them for security. So convenience means I just don't want, to get the paper or, go online. So what is considered convenience? Welcome to the Series 10. The Series 10 is more judgment than the SIE, the 6, the 7, where you might in the context have to decide whether it's acceptable or not. Brian, would you like to add anything about Reg U, Reg X?
No, you got it.
Yeah. I have my SIE in 66, studying for my 7. My plan is to read each chapter aloud. I like reading out loud. It's slower, but you can have a conversation. Watch the Kaplan videos, like it. Do quick 20 questions quizzes, checkpoint quizzes, and a good plan. I think so. Here's what I would probably recommend, Madison. And again, it's a buffet. Take what you like, leave what you don't. I would want you to try and read that book in cover to cover and as close to one setting as possible, not worrying about notes, not worrying about quizzing, just to see what is between the covers. What is the entire content you're held accountable for? I don't know if you're a full-time or part-time studier, and in that, I wouldn't do it aloud. I would just try to get through it. Then circle back and read each chapter aloud. Now, Brian, I think, has a beautiful way of, he thinks, attacking this. If I don't get this right, Brian, just let me know. He thinks that what you should do is read the chapter or unit 1, for example, then do a 20-question quiz. I don't 20 questions. I would like more. I don't know if Brian thinks 20 is enough.
Yeah, I like 10 to 15, to be honest.
There you go. He's 10, 15. All right, 10, 15. Then what Brian thinks you should do is move on to unit 2 and pay attention. Unit 2, do the same thing, but then don't move on to unit 3. Then create a custom quiz that includes unit 1, unit 2. And when you're past that, 75%, then unit 3, again, don't move on. Unit 3 quiz, 75, then simulated unit 1, 2, 3. And that way you keep bringing up the caboose with you as you move through the material, because sometimes what happens is you get to the end, then you forget the beginning. Right? So, Brian, is that kind of, I think, your recommendation? I get that right?
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Every time you add, you also then reinforce the previous chapters. Add, reinforce, because exactly what you said, it's a slog getting through those 680 pages. Yeah. By the time you get to chapter 18, you forgot what the heck was in chapter 1. But here you're reinforcing as you go.
Madison, I call this the overall term I call this is laying base.
That's exactly.
You're laying base knowledge, because sometimes, Madison, it's so apparent that somebody hasn't laid any base just by the nature of their questions. They have a question like, listen, the YouTube channel is free. It's self-service, but every once in a while I get a question. I'm like, this person hasn't read the book. They haven't done any practice questions. They're just watching a video. That doesn't work. It's not like osmosis. You're going to pick this thing up.
Yeah.
And so I call that laying base. And you should have a certain level of base before you attempt to do like a practice test. Right. Because if you jump into that too soon, it's just not going to, it's not going to be reinforcing. It's not going to help you. It's going to make you feel bad.
And since you're reinforcing those previous chapters, right? That's why you're only doing 10 to 15 in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because you're going to end up seeing probably 50 or 60 of them by the time you get through all of them.
I see what Brian's saying. If I understand this correct, he's saying, Madison, that when you're doing the custom quiz, you're going to bring in a new 15 from the unit 1. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then after that laying that base, that's where Dean's videos or my videos or both videos come in. That's kind of the second part. Because as Dean said, this is what we like to do. We take that load of potatoes, refine it, distill it to make premium vodka. We take all of that 680-page mess and put it down to what we absolutely, positively have to know for the test. So we distill all that. That's the second part. Third part then is the simulated exams practice.
Yeah, and so the other thing I would add, Madison, is that Brian and I think of ourselves as a bridge from the paid study materials, your primary study materials, to the exam, and I think sometimes people are trying to use the bridge without being on one side of the bridge. Remember, that is, you shouldn't be using our supplements. Brian's is paid, mine's free, to be your base. You should, as Brian said, you want to have your paid study materials, read your book, do your quizzes, and then use our supplements to plug the gaps wherever those gaps are. So that's what I would say about that.
It's hard to build a bridge without a base.
Yeah, that's right. For Series 7, the main section of the test, I think I got mutual funds and munis down good. So that means options. Right. The three biggest parts of the 91 questions, Daniel, on investments is mutual funds and munis and options. So I would definitely do options. There's other things, partnerships, ETFs, ETNs, but those are the big ones. All right. Woohoo. How does 60
podcaster know exactly how it stacks up?
What? Yeah. Shane, we'll link to our podcast that Brian and I did on the 66. I would, no surprise, highly recommend it. Maybe that is a way to get the cover to cover understanding of what you're going to be held accountable for. I will link in the video description to that podcast series on the 66. A lot of people found it very, very helpful. That gives you a nice overview. Maybe check out the first video in that series. I'll also put up my first video start here on 66. That tells you a little bit. I think, Shane, surprisingly enough, Brian and I respected it, I guess is what I would say, Shane. A lot of times what happens on 66 is sevens who come off their victory have a little bit of hubris. Like, you have no reason you should be feeling good. You say, oh, man, I passed my 7. What are they going to ask me that I don't know? A lot, right? So make sure you respect it. I would add the biggest change up in terms of the investment part of it is what Brian and I were talking about, analytical methods that you don't get on the 7. That's like present value, future value, internal rates of return, discounted cash flow. That is nowhere to be found on the 7, but it is certainly found on 66. And then the balance sheet stuff is a little more in there, right? You don't. If you tell me you missed your 7 because of balance sheets, I'm going to say, really? I mean, your assets minus liabilities equals net worth. I'm not saying balance sheets isn't on the 7, but it's not there to the extent you're going to encounter it on the 66. So that would be my recommendation to you. Surprisingly, Brian and I are both surprised that people miss the 66. It's not usually the laws and regs. It's investments. And you wouldn't think that based on having just taken 125 questions on investments, but missed the mark by 1 question. Damn, that hurts for sure. Recommend continuing QBank, rereading lowest chord. Yep, taking simulated exams. I like the retest immediately, Jim. I like somebody who walks out of that cave, got smoked by the dragon, and says, I'm going down the mountain to reload. I'm climbing back up the mountain. I'm going in the cave, and I'm slaying the dragon. Your brain does better with a date certain. So get the date. They won't let you schedule it 30 days, but they will let you schedule immediately if it's 30 days out. I always think you should have a date. I get aggravated with people who don't have dates. And aggravated enough, somebody I'm tutoring, I say, I'm not tutoring you again until you get a date. Your brain, it needs to know a date certain when you're going to go down there. So I would recommend that. I'll also, Jim, link to a video I have, a podcast episode called You Failed. Is it over? Spoiler alert, the answer is no. And in that video, I have 5 recommendations on how to respond to that misfortune. So I'll link to that as well in the video description. Using Kaplan QBank as your main resource. Well, that's a smart thing. And using Brian's study guide and lectures. Well, there you go. I think you're in good shape. If you don't have a Kaplan QBank, I highly recommend it. It's the best QBank out there. Okay, you ready, Brian?
Yes, sir.
I'm about to use some vulgar language. Our videos are usually safe for home and work. And here we go. There are a lot of people that say no one has questions that approximate the actual test questions. Bullshit. That is the first and only time you'll hear me use vulgarity. Kaplan and my friend Brian work very, very hard to come up with questions that they think approximate what you're going to be tested on. We're not allowed to ask you, like, what was question 35? But we can ask you, do you think we could have done a better job preparing you for? And so I think the best in the business at correlation, I'll say it that way, correlation is Kaplan. Kaplan goes a little, sometimes they aren't distilling the potatoes, but, and Brian's spot on. I'd also tell you, Ritwick, that I have some practice exams. They're not like Brian's. They're not designed to be a diagnostic. They exclusively come from debrief. And so every once in a while I get worried because somebody says, I got a 90 on Dean's exam. No, I'm just trying to share with you things to be aware of. Like, for example, on a 66, a quadro, for example, or on the 66, things we know are there, equity indexed annuities, for example. So I don't have anything in my exam that doesn't come from the front. And same with Brian, by the way. We don't write questions that, don't reflect what's going to be there. So you're in good shape. I think you're going to find the points you need. Scoring 75 to 82 on the 6. That's good. Right where you need to be, Benina. Love it.
That's right where it's great.
Just passed my 7 last week. Oh, we just did that one, Shane. Am I falling behind or something?
How'd that happen?
I don't know. Maybe I taught all day. I'm teaching a series 7. So, and Kaplan Brian has changed the slides. Oh,
who cares?
Well, I do because
I never use them.
Listen, I know they have a fly-ins and the fly-ins are missing. It's like, oh my God.
I don't care.
There you go. There you go. Right on.
Don't get me started.
66 tomorrow. All right. So get some rest. As we said, you got to be well rested. I don't know about you, David, but when I'm not well rested, my reading skills are greatly diminished. So, we want you to be as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as you finally can possibly be. RTFQ, read the full question. RTFA, read the full answer set. It looks like you're in good shape. You got the big 3. You got Kaplan. You got Brian. You got my videos. I think you're in good shape. I'm expecting good news next Tuesday. I'll tell you what. I'm feeling so good, David. I'm going to ring the bell early.
There you go.
We're giving you your testing victory tonight, and now you just got to, make it happen tomorrow. Series 6, getting 65s. Jake, I would like you to be in the mid-70s. The crunch time, you mentioned crunch time advice. STC has crunch time facts, which are awesome. Kaplan has what are called quick sheets. 3 days, man. You just got to keep finishing. Here's what I got to tell you. Finish strong, man. You got to finish strong. You can't get wobbly. So I would like to have a 70-plus score. We get many people that get 65s and still pass. So I'm not saying you're not going to pass. Don't switch your date. You want to go for it. But tomorrow you got a good work day. I'm hoping you're a full-time studier. So you basically got 2 more days before you have to just kind of say, okay, I'm going with what I got. But I'd like to see at least one practice test score above 70. I have, Jake, on the channel, I have a Knopman Marks Series 7 practice test. I have a Kaplan practice test. Maybe do that Knopman one. I'll put it in the video description. Hit pause, answer, hit play, and see how you do on that one. Brian, I think I have yours too.
6 exam if he wants it. Email
There you
me.
go. Brian says email him, Jake.
Yeah.
Let me put that up there. I have it on my channel too, but I get the PDF from Brian because
Oh, that's right. You have my series.
the PDF's even better. So let's put that up there for you. I would definitely take Brian up on his offer. He's a pretty generous guy. There you go. So send Brian an email, and he's offering his PDF of a Series 7 practice test. As I said, Series 6, right? And I told you his practice tests are really spot on. So that's a great opportunity for you, certainly. Thank you, Brian, so much. I mean, that's really a neat thing.
It's called paying it forward, Dean. You know all about that. You know what that's like. We got to pay it.
Where we're at. And we did that one. We did that one. There we were. That was Jake, I guess. Yep, Jake. So there you go. Got a free practice test. The other thing I would recommend, Jake, for people who get Brian's PDFs, I recommend that what they do, Jake, is he's going to give that to you. What I want you to do is take an El Marco the night before your exam and go through Brian's exam and El Marco out the wrong answers so that what's left is just the question and Brian's right answer. I call that a poor man's flashcard. And just read those questions and those right answers to get in the 6 flow. I recommend you do that the night before and the morning of, just to get in the flow and read those questions, those right answers. Because, taking a FINRA NASAA exam isn't the natural circadian rhythm flow. And so that I think using Brian's practice exams to establish some flow is a good idea as well. Second time Monday. All right, Matt. So we're sending you some good testing vibes. Brian, on your quick sheet, I'm confused about if investment advisor reps can provide discounted fees to a group of clients or all clients.
That was on my quick sheets.
Yeah.
We can discount
quick sheets. You have class notes, David.
Yeah.
Quick sheets are a Kaplan product.
Yeah. Quick sheets, quick notes. Yeah. Mine are quick notes or something.
Are they where they go?
Yeah. Something like that. We can discount fees. There's no doubt about that. As long as it's disclosed.
Yeah.
And it's available. As a matter of fact, what I tell people is in the real world, most advisor firms have a scale of fees based on AUM. 0 to 500K, 500 to 750, 750 to $1 million, over $1 million usually has decreased fees. So, discounted fees is kind of part of the business.
David, what I would just be looking for is we can't be discriminatory in how we're doing that. So,
exactly.
I can't say like you're a jerk, so it's 3% for you. Working on 6. Boy, we have a lot of 6s in the house tonight.
Good.
I know I've heard the actual exam will ask you for equations, not actual math. I wouldn't be surprised you told me you had no math to do on a 6.
Yeah.
I would have a general understanding of POP and NAV.
That's right.
Maybe current yield, but if you tell me you missed the mark on 6 because of any kind of a math equations or input or output, I'm gonna say, I don't know. I find that hard to believe.
You got it, Dean. NAV and POP.
Yeah. Maybe current yield, maybe. There we go. We got things coming in twice.
Maybe
technical difficulties tonight. Technical difficulties. Any overall advice for my 66? Went 2 for 2. So now I love it, David. You're going for the hat trick. Listen, it's not a derogatory term, and it's not a bad thing. But people go, baby brokers doing hat tricks. What the heck is that? I said, well, baby brokers are a term of endearment for rookies in our securities industry. Hence, baby broker. Hat tricks are 3 successes in a limited time frame. And so when we call baby brokers doing hat tricks, that means going 3 for 3. So it looks like David is about to turn the hat trick.
Yes.
He says here, he's certainly feeling the least confident. Well, 66 will do that to you.
Yes, it does.
62. I don't see here, David, where you told us when you're testing. Let's see. Am I missing that?
Yeah, was he next Tuesday?
Well, David, so what I would tell you is that, I don't know about you, but if you can establish some more confidence between now and whenever you test, that would be helpful, right? And confidence can be established by doing, more practice tests and getting higher scores. But whatever's happening to you on test date, As I said, I can't stress this enough. I'll ask Brian how many points he thinks this is worth. I think at least 10 points. I'll say it again. David, be confident in the execution of your study plan. Be confident in yourself. And most importantly, be confident in your answers on the test. I say 10 points. What do you say, Brian?
Knowing how to take the test is the difference between a 68 and a 78.
There you go. There you go, right?
Be confident. You got it.
Hey, Dean, I'd circle back. All right. Woohoo. You are welcome. You are welcome.
Today.
Another testing victory. So for those of you who are new with us, there's a movie called It's a Wonderful Life. And in A Wonderful Life, there's an angel named Clarence. And whenever a bell goes off, he tells, Jimmy Stewart, I forget who he is in the movie, but that's an angel getting its wings. So our version of that is we ring the bell when people pass. You are welcome. So motto, that's going to be, if you want to join me, I think there's a spot left. If you go to Dean Tenney Tutoring, let me just put that up there, .setmore.com. Where is that? Well, I got the live stream folder here. What's going on? There we go. Boom. There's a couple things that you can register for there. Everything on the YouTube channel is free, but that is my booking page, and there is very few things that are free on the booking page. Mostly what you can book there is tutoring. You can book a shared screen final if you want to do a final with me together. But if you go to the class section on that, that's where Motto went. You will find a couple of free things. Tonight at 6:15, we're doing a live stream overtime session, and that's a virtual classroom with a whiteboard. First come, first serve. We talk about whatever people want to talk about. I think you can still register for that. I don't think that's been closed out yet. The other thing that we have up there on the class part is evening classes. I'm doing a basic option class, which is $35. And in any of these classes, unlock office hours, which are free. So that's a $225 value because I usually charge $225 an hour for tutoring. So that's $35. I have a stock plus options, $35. And then I have an evening class on spreads and straddles. That's $60 for that one. Brian did one called Definitions for us of registrations and persons. I forget what we charge. I think $60. What a deal. But anyways, people, they're always available as a replay free afterwards. And Brian did that one. I'm going to rope him into doing another one for us. We just got to figure out what it's going to be. So I'm assuming he'll say, okay, who knows? Maybe he might say, I don't do things for free. But hey, he's giving away practice tests. So we'll see if we can give him to, come down a little bit on the price for doing a class for us. All right, let's go back to our comments. Lady Brill. We did that one. There we go. All right. Woo. There you go. There's the trifecta. That's another version of the trifecta. Excuse me, the hat trick. SIE 663, 3 testing victories in a limited time frame. You two have done the hat trick. All right. Kudos.
60
Brian's supplement. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed it. You got one more leg for the hat trick. I didn't catch that. You're taking the 63. So one more testing victory, and you got the hat trick. You learned all that in college. There you go. We missed you, Isaac. I'm trying. I'm so busy, Isaac. I apologize. I am so busy. I mean, I was telling Brian, I accidentally, as a retired stockbroker, have turned myself into having a real job. And I'm at a crossroads, Brian. I got to decide whether I'm going to dial back or I'm going to dial up. And I got to figure out if, I'm going to hire somebody to help me just keep track of emails and things like that. So we're trying, Isaac. I'm trying. So let's try and get together and see if we can carve out the time for that. After you take the 65, you need the 7. I don't think you should, once you're in the, test-taking mode and you're getting victories, I believe in rolling the table. Yeah. If you slay the dragon, go into the next cave and get the next dragon while you're still in the dragon fighting rhythm.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Brian? 2-3 days off? I wouldn't.
I was just going to say that. Take the weekend off, refresh a little bit.
Reset.
maybe even 5 days, but then get
Not
back.
on the outside.
Yeah.
So,
But then get right back into it.
yeah. You don't want to lose your rhythm. You don't want to lose your rhythm, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Eli, let's get this thing done, man. If there's anything we can do to help you on that 10, it's a slog for sure.
Man.
So, do I have any test reviews? I should try and implement. Well, we have, the usual suspects. I don't know who you're using, but I'm not monogamous when it comes to getting help to pass an exam. So as much of I think as Kaplan is the best, if you have used Kaplan and now you need to retest, maybe you want to get STC, just get a different voice. So that would be one. What's that?
How about Notman for the 9 and 10?
Well, Notman uses the Kaplan Q bag backstage, so that's why I'm not saying Notman's fine. Their benchmarks are pretty good. I don't know if the benchmarks are worth paying the whole $600 for, or whatever they charge. But I would, Eli, suggest that we need to get some fresh materials to you, fresh questions for you to practice on. So, and I'm not sure if you're using Kaplan. I would recommend STC if it's STC Kaplan. I wouldn't do Past Perfect as they really take you to the weeds. And I wouldn't use ExamFX or training consultants. What is the test question regarding POP and NAV? Well, you should know that POP NAV equals sales charge, and sales charge divided by public offering price is the percentage sales charge. And you should know that shouldn't be more than 8.5%. Right? You might have to calculate. By the way, if you calculate that, Daniel, and you come over with 10%, then you should be prepared to tell me that's a closed-end fund. Right, because it can't be a fund charging over 8.5. Well, again, it depends on your confidence level. So either the day before, or the day before, should you take a practice test. I do think you should do some, if you're not going to do an entire practice test, here's when not to do a practice test. Daniel, if you are not doing well and your confidence level is low, then you shouldn't do a practice test. If your confidence level is high and you've been doing well, why not keep your rhythm and do a practice test the morning of, and then the rest of the afternoon take it low key. But if you're not going to do a practice test the day before, we should kind of know where you're at based on what you're scoring. Whether, we should be able to say, you're going to stick the landing or your risk. But if you're not, at least do 20, 30 questions just to keep your rhythm. I've had people that just really, take their pedal off the metal the day before and lose their rhythm. So you want to make sure you keep your rhythm, right? I would think of it as like, athletics, right? If you're not pitching today, Brian has forgot more about baseball than team's ever going to know. However, what do I know? But if you're not pitching today, maybe you throw a couple pitches in the bullpen just to, keep your rhythm. So you're not out there trying to find, your flow state.
Actually, Dean, that's a very good analogy.
Is it? Okay. So, where can you get access to Brian's test guide and practice test? Well, Brian has been kind enough to give us a discount of 20%. So if you want to Tyler buy all in on Brian, his videos of the entire series exams, his PDF, which comes with his class host practice exam, I want to say it's about $100, $103 somewhere in there, Brian.
For video, yeah. With discount, it's about 103.
All in, it'd be $100. Now, if you just want his PDF product, I want to say that's what, $40, $45, Brian?
Minus
somewhere in that neighborhood. But you can go to teachable.com. Let me just put that up for him. And let's see. This is where you can find Brian's stuff. Boy, I've got to clean up my banners, Brian. There we go.
That's the video.
So if you go there, you can find it. Can they get the PDFs there too or not?
Absolutely. It's all included. It's
all his paid supplement stuff can be found there.
You pay triple digits, you get everything.
Triple digits. I like it. Triple digits. That might be a good social media handle for somebody. Triple digits.
You have
all right. This is triple digits coming to you from my studio here in fabulous Las Vegas. Every time I lose the comment section, then I got to go back and find it. We did that one already.
Are you in Arizona?
I am, and you're in the Northwest because I see the fine redwood around your dry erase board.
How often is it when we're both not in Vegas?
And I'll tell you, we got it. I told you, Brian, I put it on my bling. I got my Rolex, my blue sapphire. I got my gold chain for when we go gambling next.
I'm heading down. We're heading down on Saturday.
I'm blinging up. Well, I'm taking Mom to the airport. I sent her to
I
Europe.
thought you've already done that.
Yeah, so I'm going to do drop mom in LA on Friday. Then I'm going to head to Mexico for a few days, and then I'm coming back, and then I'm going to head off grid. So
there you go.
Boom. I think we did that one. We did that one. We did that one. We did that one. There we go. That was where we were last. Okay, so Eli, I'm taking averaging 60s. Yeah, I'd like you to be in that 70 range, man. Yeah, toughness past perfect is tough. So if you're getting high 60s, you should be able to add some points to that. I just really think they take people into the weeds. I've tutored people in the Series 10 using past perfect and 24 and past perfect, and boy, it's a slog. The test itself is already a slog. So, what's the way to use that? I think we just talked about that. Did we not? We said you take the test specifications and you look it over. And then what you want to do at some point is be able to look at each item on it and put a plus saying that you are comfortable with that topic. So start at topic 1 and continue through. Indeed. You also want to use it to confirm your paid study materials. And so you know when you're reading where that is in terms of those test specifications.
Most textbooks in my videos and your videos are generally based off, to some degree, they all vary a little bit, but they are all based off of those test specifications.
Yeah, that's right.
What we use, right? Plus the feedback that we get and those sorts of things. My modules are set up exactly like the test specifications.
Yeah. So Brian, I would like to comment on that because again, Brian is absolutely correct. And what people make a mistake of is they think their test prep book, their license exam manual, what they're going to get tested on is the book, like a book report on that book. And that is not at all what's going on. Right. As Brian said, that book is reverse engineered from the test specification to help you pass that test. So it's a much different. It's not like, you're in college, I'm handing you a textbook and say there's going to be a test on this book at the end of the semester. It's not. There's this test, and then the regulators tell us what they're going to test. And Brian, I love this as well, right? Sometimes people will ask me, well, how do you know that's not on the test? I said, well, it's not on the test specifications or the content outline. They're not allowed to just randomly make up things to test people on. If it's not in there.
I know who you've been talking to.
Who's that?
No names. No names.
Yes, the audio will help me tremendously. There you go. So somebody asked about the audio book, and somebody answered that and said yes. I'm not sure who the narrator is on that. That would be interesting to see which Kaplan person is the narrator. By the way, Brian, Kaplan on their webpage said thank you to you and I for the interview we did with Doug Vincennes, that Senior Vice President Kaplan, and they posted on their website. So, who knows, we'll get some people checking us out. You get a discount when you tell them the Kaplan portal. Well, Carmen, you don't need the Kaplan portal. You can just use Guru 15. There's no reason for a Kaplan portal. Carmen, the Kaplan portal is only 10%. This drives me nuts. Ken Finnan tells people to use Michael Weiss's Kaplan portal to get a discount. You don't need the portal, and the portal is only 10%. Michael makes it sound like you got to go get an account at Kaplan to find out that he's going to get 10%. You can simply, when you want to buy a Kaplan product or service, you simply at checkout put Guru 15 and you get a 15% discount. That is more than you're ever going to get from any Kaplan portal. It's 50% more. So maybe, Ken just wants to throw, Michael Weiss a couple bucks. I can't for the life of me figure that out.
You're naming names that I didn't want to know.
I'm tired of it.
I hear you.
Okay, thank you. How busy you are, I understand. I get it. I like helping people, but it's tough. It is tough. So Isaac, let's try and talk. Let's at least try and see if we can get something on the schedule. Thank you for the video. You are welcome. Pass the SIE. Woohoo! I like it per practice test, 50, 60 questions. So we want to kind of start taking that up, Nicole, to do a complete practice test. So at least, testing Saturday, this is Tuesday, scoring 74%, unit 1 through 9. Nicole, when you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, please do a complete practice test for me and tell me your score on that. I know you have my email. Send me that score. I'd like to see where we're at in total and see if that too is in that 70 range. Because if so, we should feel pretty good. We should feel pretty good. Hello, Dean and Brian. Report my victory. Woohoo! So there you go. You got the hat trick. Completed the hat trick. And oh, look at that. Brian's supplement is a must buy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Priscilla, think it's a great investment for sure. Now, I know not everybody has resources to do it, but if you do, it is not time to be cheap. If you have the resources, go all in, get everything you need that you think can help you make your mark. Make sure you got all the arrows in the quiver you can possibly have, right? You don't want to just have one. Series 7 for the 5th time, Angelina. You're going to do so well in our business. I am so excited for you because, man, when you pass that Tuesday, you're going to have passed not only the Series 7, but a test of your resiliency. And that says more as an indicator of your future success than anything. You're going to be able to go, Angelina, out to customers and say, hey, if anybody knows this stuff, it's me. I had to take the damn test 5 times. I had brokers who would actually do that. And listen, Angelina, just want to reassure you, I'm not sure if you're in the support unit or the business unit, but I would tell you that if you're in the business unit, people invest with you because they like you and they trust you. Nobody cares about how long it took you to pass the test. I mean, no, I haven't ever had anybody say, what did you score on the test? How many times did you take the test? It's just a bump in the road. And then what, Angelina, you got to pay it forward. And so what I want you to do, Angelina, when you pass is hold all those other baby brokers accountable. Anybody says anything about the challenge of getting through this rite of passage, this barrier to entry in the securities industry, I want you to be on them and say, hey, by the way, I'm seeing your beautiful family. I understand it's even harder when you have other commitments. It's easier if you're just out of college, right? And you're a baby broker and you have nothing but 4 months of pay to pass the test. That's a little different. I had a single mom, Brian, and all she could study is before she sent the kids off to school at 6 a.m.
I get that all the time too. Yeah.
Crazy. Hey, there you go. Well, achievable. Oh, man. I feel like I'm being pretty negative. Here we go. I am not a big fan of achievable practice tests because in the past, this is, in the past, anecdotal. I've had test takers who have scored well on achievable exams and missed their mark. I have never had anybody get an 80 on a Kaplan practice test or an 80 on Brian's practice test and not make their mark. So I don't think their practice tests have good correlation. I don't think it's a big a deal as the S on the SIE. So I don't want to, give you, put you in a loop in terms of confidence. But I would say go to my SIE practice test playlist and at least do one of those practice tests there. Hit pause, hit play, and get another score just to see how it correlates with that 80%. And maybe I'm hoping it'll be a 70 plus and we'll say, woo, but if not, then,
And don't forget FINRA's practice exam.
Right on. FINRA has a great one. There's 2 versions of that, actually. There's the one on the FINRA website. I would save that till you're closer to test day because it's really good. And then I have a doppelganger version. And my doppelganger version is where I take the answer sets from that FINRA SIE practice test, same answer sets, and then I rotate the questions because a lot of their wrong answers, their distractors, are right answers to different questions. And so I love that. I have that one. Brian has one up there. I think I have a Notman one. I have lots of practice tests for the SIE. So Angelina, you're in the support unit. Well, there you go. In the Marines, we call that, Angelina, S3. S3 is in charge of the beans, the bullets, and the blankets. That's what keeps the Marines in the field, right? So you're part of the support unit. You're in charge of the beans, the bullets, and the blankets. Okay. Well, like I said, I'm sure your promotions are going to be better. People who are going to be looking at you go, man, she deserves to move her way up the chain of command in the Marine version, right? If you could stick with this 5 times. I'm hoping, Angelina, you don't have to share your private business, but I hope there's a bonus at the end of this. I'm hoping, you get something, higher pay. First time here. Well, welcome, Lisa. Welcome to our live stream. We're here every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. A quick rundown of what Brian covers. He covers everything on the test.
Put my email up there. Have her email. I'd be more than happy.
There you go. So here's Brian's email. He's more than happy. Boom. There you go.
There you go.
So just send him an email. And listen, neither Brian and I are into trying to close people. We don't want you to make any investments you're not comfortable with.
Exactly.
We don't mind sharing with you what's available. So just send Brian an email and but it covers everything you need for the test, right? So I think we could spend the whole hour going on a rundown on what Brian's stuff covers. All right. Well, it looks like, where do you go for Brian's? This keeps coming up. Series 7 practice test. I don't know. Do I have your 6 practice test on the channel?
I don't know. Again, just email me.
Benita, email Brian, and it says he'll send you the 6 practice test. Check out my 6 playlist. It might be there already. If it's, Brian gave me permission to do his practice exam, so I don't know if I did that one or not. I'm not a big fan of training consultants because I think they're a little thin. That's just my personal opinion. So, Brian, what should be our giveaway word for today?
Boy, I tell you, I came up here from Vegas on Tuesday, Dean.
Hold on.
I have never seen so many tulips.
Hold on. It looks like it's not letting me bring up my giveaway tool. So hold on.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I'm having so much problems with technology today. There we go. Okay, I found the giveaway tool.
Let me get rid of my options diagram here.
Okay, so choose a live stream. Okay, what word? Spring? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, sir.
All caps or?
I don't care. It's up to you.
Well, you got to put. The only reason I asked, Brian, is because they have to put it exactly how it has it there. So if you want to participate in the drawing, you got to do it exactly how Brian has it on that whiteboard. It won't pick you up. Okay, let me go get the Wheel of Fortune here. Boom, boom, boom. And let me get rid of Brian and myself. Boom.
Spring has sprung in the Pacific Northwest.
And there we go. And close enough for our work tonight.
Yeah, I think so.
It doesn't look pretty, but oh well. Let me get rid of Lisa's thing here. There we go. All right, so we got 17 participants. 18. Anybody else want to participate? I will see some of you in 15 minutes on the overtime session in the Zoom classroom with a whiteboard. That's deantenneytutoring.setmore.com if you want to join us. I'm not sure if there are any spots left, but there might be. All right, looks like that's it. Here we go. Oh, man, Amato. I thought for sure that was going to be you. Oh, man.
Hey.
Kraken, release the Kraken. I love it.
That's a Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, I like it. So to claim your winnings, there you go. Send me an email to coachingcall@guruexamprep.com with an hour of the live stream, and we'll set up a Zoom. If you want the coaching call, if you don't want the coaching call, your other choice would you like a scholarship to an options class, either basic options, stock plus options, covered calls, protected puts, or spreads and straddles. So I'll leave that up to you, Kraken, when I receive your email. All right, let's get rid of that. Boom. Let's get rid of that. So remember, inch by inch, your exam is a cinch. Yard by yard, your exam is hard. And Brian, you say?
Keep it simple. Stay with what you know. You take the test. Don't let the test take you.
All right, everybody. Bye-bye. We'll see you next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Bye-bye.